I'm excited to dish on the nominees for the Tasties. An award ceremony is coming up on February 1st that celebrates the best of our city's food, drink, and hospitality scene. They give out this one award, the Icon Award. What are some of Philly's most iconic restaurants? I'm talking to Chef Eli Culp, co-creator of The Tasties and host of Delicious City podcast, about some of the best restaurants, chefs, and craft cocktails that really make Philly's restaurants come to life. It's Tuesday, January 20th. I'm Trinae Nuri, and we're talking about Philly's most iconic restaurants. Eli, welcome back to CityCast Philly. It's been a year since we last talked because you guys were having the inaugural The Tasties, which is a big Philly food award show. It's coming up on Sunday, February 1st. In just a few minutes, we'll talk about that award show, but let's talk about the actual awards that you all are giving out this year. And we'll start with the Icon Award. What is it? And tell me, what makes a Philly restaurant iconic?
Well, first off, a year goes by quick. Trinae, thank you so much for having me back to talk about what we have going on. We're cooking up some good stuff this year, and you are not incorrect in saying that the Icon Award, at least for me, is one of the more special awards, right? Like, we have a list of different categories from newer restaurants and older restaurants and all that. We try to really have a nice blend of categories for everybody. But the Icon Award is special because to get iconic status, we don't have a exact matrix of how we define a Icon Award recipient or nominee. But I think naturally you're looking at longevity, right? You're looking at consistency. You're looking at what they bring to the table for Philadelphia. Because as we know, restaurants come and go. Like, it's like sometimes you can't even keep up. I was just looking at certain lists from, 10 years ago, and I'd say 50% of those restaurants that were on these lists are gone. So the landscape changes very rapidly, and it's very hard to create longevity in our business.
You said something really interesting. It seems like restaurants come and they go. Is that kind of also the reason why you all are having this Icon Award, to kind of like to shout people out or give them their flowers?
No doubt.
Right now, yeah.
No doubt. I mean, it takes tremendous effort and dedication. And you think of restaurants like some other on the list, like Tequila's this year. It's a restaurant that's been around for, I think, close to 40 years now. But they are also shuttered by a fire 3 or 4 years ago. And now they're back, and they're just amazing. The restaurant's better than ever. And, it's they used that opportunity, as tough as that was going through it. They came back, they rose from the ashes, and now they are just doing some incredible things. So, yes, longevity and consistency is, it takes dedication. You think of economies over the last 30 years, like what they've had to go through. The recession in 08 and 09, which was catastrophic for our industry. Fast forward to COVID, 2020, like there's just all these moments in our history that just they had to live through and get through. And, it's just a testament of their incredible work and dedication and love for what they do.
When I was doing research about some of the restaurants in the Icon Award, I just kept seeing kind of a story of resilience as well. I mean, we just talked about Tequila's and them reopening after that fire. And just like I read in a Philly Mag article, just so many inspections they had to go through. And this is an upscale Mexican restaurant. It's a lot of competition in the city as well, and trying to be fresh. And we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. But like you said, restaurants get hit with so many things, like in Monks, the price of beer. And, having this is a Belgium beer centric spot, and they have lots of offerings, beers and mussels and burgers, but they had to navigate tariffs last year. Um, so let's go through some and maybe why you all chose these
Yeah.
places.
Yeah.
Why is Monks on the list?
Well, if you look at Monks and what Tom Peters has done over 30 plus years, I believe. I don't know the exact timeline there, maybe a little less, but regardless, they were one of the first places in America to start importing Belgian beers when they started. Tom Peters is actually knighted in Belgium as somebody who they said, like, you were incredibly important for Belgian beer getting on the map in the United States. And here we are. He's still thriving. He's an incredibly uh, gracious guest or host, I should say, as well as somebody who really takes pride in giving their neighborhood something special. And that's something you'll hear a lot when he talks is, how important remaining a neighborhood establishment and trying to keep those prices low in the face of, all these extra imported taxes and tariffs. So it's a testament. So on that list, I mentioned Fork already.
And that's your restaurant?
I'm a partner in that in the
Okay.
company, High Street Hospitality Group. Ellen Yen, I mean, you can't say enough of what she does. Even just, as a partner, I look at her all the time. It's like, she's just such an incredible force, dedicated. She's always so gracious with her time as well. I'm just like, where do you find the time, lady? Like, it's just, she's doing events, she's speaking, she's doing all these things. And she's always wanting to give back as well, which I think what makes Ellen super special in that way.
I'm glad that Fork was on the list. That's the first place or the first time I've ever had frog legs and that incredible burger. It was a very interesting combination.
That is quite the night out right there. You get frog legs and a burger. There's not too many places that you can do that in. That's for sure. Unfortunately, the frog legs are not on the menu anymore.
I know. I saw that.
However, we have some great stuff. But you also mentioned, how hard it is to stay relevant, and having to constantly reinvent yourself, but without losing the essence of who and what you are. And
Right.
when I think back about Fork, and that's the restaurant that brought me to Philadelphia. I was hired as the executive chef. I was working in New York at the time, and when I met Ellen, I just could appreciate her love for hospitality. And that's the anchor of Fork. It's that gracious Ellen Yin style of hospitality. No matter who the chef is over the years, the one remaining and constant thing that you can get when you go to Fork is that hospitality. And that's it. And and of course Ellen is great at picking chefs, obviously. So and then we have, I want to move on to Oyster House. They were a
Yes.
nominee last year as well. What Sam Mink and his family have done over the course of, I think they're entering their 40th year this year. I think this is their 40th anniversary year. And his father started it, and Sam has taken that torch. I mean, you talk to his dad, you just see, like, you understand why this has been successful over these years. He's just got such a great attitude and just a love for the business. And Sam has continued that legacy. And you go there no matter what, lunchtime, dinner time, the place is packed.
Yes, very busy people with their rolled up sleeves slurping oysters, which
Yes.
are delicious, by the way. We went there for a team lunch recently, so great spot.
There's nowhere better for oysters. There just simply
Right.
isn't. Pull up a chair on that oyster bar and watch those shuckers go to work. They will actually be serving oysters during the VIP hour as well for
Nice.
this year. So really excited to have them back. But yeah, they're also a very gracious group. So I'm really excited for Sam. We mentioned tequilas. Can't say enough about David Suro Sr. It's a family-run business. David Jr.'s there. Their son there is there as well as the daughter. It is such an incredible family, and not only tequilas, but they also opened on the back side of the building La Jefa, right, which is
Mm-hmm.
their kind of breakfast cafe, restaurant, lunch, but then it turns into this really delicious cocktail focused bar in the evening. So, they're what they've been able to do and recreate tequilas and keeping it so relevant, I think is so special. And we mentioned monks, nowhere better for great Belgian beer and some delicious mussels.
All right, let's keep talking about this after the break. Well, our team had a couple other suggestions for iconic
Oh,
restaurants.
let's hear it.
And tell me what you think about this.
Let's hear it.
Vietnam Cafe, both the Chinatown and Baltimore Avenue locations.
I didn't know they had a Baltimore Avenue location.
Oh, yeah, Eli, that one's the spot. It literally feels like you are in like a sacred space.
Really? Okay.
Yes, the building is so iconic.
Listen, if the James Beard awards hand you basically the same uh, award, if you will, that you are, I forget what they call a legacy restaurant or whatever it was, but what was it 2024? I think they got recognized by the James Beard as being a restaurant of iconic status. So yes, I think they would definitely hit the mark. And I will say this in discussions for these categories, I don't have any voting or any part of the nominee process. I had to bite my tongue a lot as the chairman of the nominee committee. I'm
Okay.
just there to guide it. And Vietnam restaurant came up multiple times in discussions. I can tell you that right now because you can't deny their not only their delicious food but their longevity.
Okay, what about this? Park. Steven Stars Park, right in Rittenhouse.
I mean,
It's literally the same every time you go,
yes.
from breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, or I recently went there for desserts, just desserts.
I mean, you go there and you walk in, it's the same. You talk about consistency, right? Across the
Hmm.
board. I mean, I feel like there's Park and then every other restaurant revolves around that restaurant in Philly because not only are they consistent and you know what you're going to get, they're freaking busy. I mean, they're
Yes.
doing it. They're doing 1,000+ covers a day. So just imagine for a minute what that machine looks like to be able to do that. And, the hundreds of people that are working there each day to keep them inspired, keep them energized, keep them focused because it's a lot of redundancy, right? There's not a whole lot of like creative juices flowing around there. However, what they do it well. That's what makes Steven Starr an icon in my mind. He knows his customer. He knows what they want. He doesn't want to become a Michelin star restaurant. He wants something for the people. And he wants, just like with Borromini, right? The new restaurant. You go there, he had incredible creative chefs working on this project with him, but he understands who his client is. He understands what they want, and he delivers time and time again.
Well, it's interesting. You mentioned Michelin but you said it like that's not like something maybe you want to get. Help me understand what you're saying there.
Well, I'll say it this way, and I'm speaking just from some inside baseball there, because I did know some of the people working on the project, and I think what I mean when I hear that is where he's not trying to elevate to a level because chasing a Michelin star can get really tricky. Restaurants can be inspired, they can want that, but there is a certain expectation that comes with that, whether it's, and everyone has their idea of what that is, right? Is it the food? Does it need extra garnishes, flourishes, or can a plate of fried artichokes, perfectly fried, crispy baby artichokes, along with a small little dish of aioli, is that Michelin worthy, right? But that's what he wants in his restaurant. So that's a very simple example of that. So Michelin may not look at that as a food that's risen to the bar of what they want, but Steven Starr knows exactly, he's pinpoint accurate with what he does. He touches every element of those restaurants that he creates. He's very involved, 40 years plus in the business. He's still as energetic and involved in those design, the food, the menu, the everything that gets put out in those restaurants. He knows what's going on. So kudos to him for knowing that. I think it's more metaphorical than anything when he says that, or what, when I hear that, that it's because you hear chefs say, "Oh, I want to get Michelin star." They could just go a little like rogue on you. So
interesting. So basically, it's nice, but I don't want to lose maybe my essence with chasing that award.
Absolutely. It's sticking to what you know and knowing what works for you and your company.
No cheesesteak spots on the Icon Award?
Well, listen, I mean, not this year, but we're not saying that it's not possible. I mean, what do I think? John's roast pork. I mean, that's the first thing that comes up in my mind if I hear, an iconic sandwich shop in Philadelphia. It is just without a doubt, one of my favorite spots. And anyone coming into Philadelphia, we're going to John's roast pork. Of course, you got DeNick's as well. Those two have also been recognized, for their longevity and consistency as well. There's a list of them, and everybody will have their favorite, right? We could fist fights,
super debatable.
Fist fights break out over this. I remember seeing the reaction of Michelin recognizing 3 different cheesesteak places. You had Angelo's, you had Del Rossi, and then you had Del Sandro's up in was that Roxborough area. And I mean the reactions online, man, you could
the reactions I had.
You could just feel it.
Yeah. I wouldn't agree with the whole list they came up with, but for me, I'm gonna I heard you say if someone's coming to Philly, you're gonna take them to John's. If someone comes to Philly, I'm taking them to South Street and we're going to Jim's.
Oh, you're going to Jim's. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, Dante and Luigi's, right? Like to me, like that restaurant is an icon. It is, it's longevity, it's consistency, it's recognized. They do what they do at, probably one of the higher levels at American Italian cuisine. I think what they do is fantastic. You look at, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, as a restaurant as a whole, not just the modern version, not just the version that's been around for the last 8 to 10 years, but you look at that restaurant as a whole, what they've been able to do over 30 plus years as what they, of incredible food and also being such an important neighborhood anchor. Taconelli's Pizza, like to me, like that's a great pizza shop. That's been around forever, and you always hear the lore, right? Oh, you gotta save your dough, you gotta reserve your dough for the next day, and all that. So, and then you look at Vetri Cucina, right? Vetri's been around again 22 years at this point. He knows what he does. He stays in his lane. He does the best version of regional Italian food in Philadelphia. He doesn't modernize it. He makes it, in a way his, but he is recreating the flavors of Italy in a beautiful little trattoria that just happens to cost you,
like 150 per
200 or
person.
whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But it feels, and the hospitality there, is iconic as well. You got Sankey Duck House. That could be
Oh yeah,
one,
yeah. We had that on the list as well.
Yeah.
See, we're here with it.
Okay.
We know. Now, do you think it's hard to stay iconic as like the rise of social media and trendy restaurants and the influencers?
It's hard. It's hard as it is. And I think with, these restaurants, there is you know, is Ralph's Italian? Are they having content creators come in there and create content? I don't really think so. They don't need to, right? It's the scales have tipped, and they're naturally getting people in there because people come to Philly and they want that true Philadelphia experience. And
But people look to the influencers sometimes. It's like, oh, I saw that video or that reel or that TikTok. I gotta go to, I don't know, to Fork.
you name
Okay.
it. I mean, it is the landscape of how you stay relevant today is different than it was 10 years ago. Influencers were like a 4-letter word 10 years ago, right? But now restaurants rely on them in order to help tell their story. And I think the restaurants that will remain iconic have a very keen insight into that. They understand that that's there and it's a tool. But also, again, knowing who your client is, knowing what your lane is and what makes you special in that. You look at this list and it's not like you're going to find, 6 duck houses that are iconic in a lot of people's minds. It's the ones that have stood the test of time. They've also evolved with the times and figured out a way to make sure that people don't forget about them.
I love that. All right, we will talk about the awards ceremony and the events that are around that after the break. Okay, so beside the Icon Award that you all will be giving out at the Tasties, tell us what else can we expect from the award show? What are some of the other categories and nominees?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a great list. This year, we opened each category up to 4 nominees rather than just 3. We felt like it gives a little bit more opportunity to bring in more diversity, more. And I don't just mean ethnic and all that, but I'm just talking about cultural diversity of restaurants as well. Like we have so many great restaurants and so many great neighborhoods that have these restaurants in them. We call them more traditional categories, which are everything from craft cocktail excellence in hospitality, which goes to a restaurant service team. We have one that I think is one of my also personal favorites is Neighborhood Gem. So a
Yeah, I like that
restaurant
one too. Yeah.
that is so important to their neighborhood. It is often a restaurant that feels like your neighborhood spot, but also is so good that people travel to it as well. We have standout baker or pastry chef, which, I think the name sums it up, but we have incredible bakeries, whether that's bread or whether that's pastry. We also have incredible pastry chefs in Philadelphia. So it kind of casts that wide net. We have breakout chef, which honors a chef that recently has started creating food or a restaurant or that their name is being mentioned more often because they're creating something new and special. So we want to recognize that. Then, of course, we have categories such as Restaurant of the Year and Chef of the Year. So each year we're able to recognize a restaurant that has kind of risen to that level, and we have ones that were on there last year, but we also have ones that are new. Restaurant of the Year, for example, Blue Corn, which is if you haven't been, don't sleep on Blue Corn because that is some of the best Mexican food in Philadelphia. And the Sandoval family has just produced, again, consistency and consistent food at a very high level. Her Place, which also recently got a Michelin star, is in that category. And yeah, Mon. Mon is the sort of the Cambodian noodle house slash globally influenced noodles and dishes. And, recent James Beard nominee. They recently opened Sao, their second restaurant. And then, of course, to round that out, that list of, we have Royal Sushi and Izakaya. So it's a nice blend of restaurants. It's the ones that are, they're sort of at the forefront right now. The ones that have, over the last 5 to 10 years, risen to that level that is garnering this recognition.
Okay, so Eli, you explained to us that it's not 3 nominees in each category, but now 4, just to kind of
Yes.
expand it a bit. But who actually gets to vote on the winners for each of the categories?
No, thanks for asking that. We worked really hard this year to really establish our systems around the voting and making sure that everyone, last year was our first year, and you're kind of like, flying by the seat of your pants, you're kind of building the airplane as you go off the cliff, so to speak. And, and we did a great year, and we put together a great list of nominees, very deserving nominees. This year, we want to take it a step further and really solidify ourselves as the trustworthy awards, but also that the winners and the nominees, as well as the people coming to the show, can really trust that integrity is so important to us. So this year we amassed a group of 14 different members of the nominee committee that's made up of many of the food writers where we all get our news, and from different websites we have, but we also have more traditional journalists in there. We have community leaders who understand the framework of the industry. We also had past winners that were able to nominate, as well as we actually had a few content creators. I would say the more trustworthy, or the ones that people really are drawn to in the in Philadelphia for their food content. So it's a really diverse group. We actually introduced we call them the diversity steward as well. The list of nominees in each category was whittled down. It was a 3-step process, and then from there, the judging actually goes to a separate group of, I'd say, the more senior journalists here in Philadelphia for the final voting. They were not part of the nominee voting. They are a different, separate category. So once that we get the nominees, then it goes to the judges, and from the judges, it goes to our law partner, which is Client Inspector. And Client Inspector will tabulate all the votes and bring them to the Tasties. Not myself nor anyone else other than them know the winners until that envelope is opened on stage.
Okay. I love also the People's Choice Awards.
Yes.
And the fun categories there. Let's start with the Brain Freeze Bestie.
Don't you love it? Don't you love it? The People's Choice Awards are kind of what started the whole Tasties. We did this once as just like a fun ploy, and we did this online voting one year. It's going back 3 years ago, and we realized how fun it was to kind of just name winners, and that idea is what spawned the Tasties. So each year, this is a rotating cast of nominees. We change the categories each year. We try to be fun with it, have fun with it. And obviously, just the names of the categories kind of lend to a very more casual dining experience, let's say, such as Brain Freeze Bestie. This year, we have Coco's Gelato. We have Cuzzy's Ice Cream Parlor. Franklin Ice Cream, of course, right here in Old City where I am. Milk John, John's Water Ice, and Sadiq's Water Ice as well. So you just go on to our website, deliciouscitypodcast.com, and click on the Tasties, where you'll see that option to start your voting. We have 4 different categories. We have Brain Freeze Bestie is one of them, maybe one of my favorite as well because I have a major sweet tooth. But then we also have one such as Breakfast of Champions, which lists, of course, where your favorite breakfast is, such as Taco Heart or Gilda, Pafudo, Fiore, Solome's, and Homegrown 215. And then, of course, we have Sauce Boss.
Yeah, I
Sauce
like that
Boss
category too.
going to, I mean, everybody has their favorite hot sauces or condiments that kind of go with it. This year we have some really great ones. Jondiments, we have Sonny's chili oil, Hank's sauce, which is out there by the shore. Actually, Jason Kelsey just came on as a partner with them, so they're blowing that up. Mammoth Sauce Company, Kiki Arnita's chili pepper water out of her Hawaiian sort of ancestry and heritage. And then Kensington Food Company, sort of a new one coming up, but they're doing some really, really great stuff in Kensington. And the final People's Choice Award is for Supreme Slurp. So soups, noodles, saucy stuff. So soup is for everyone at any time. And we have soups such as one of Marissa's favorite places on the podcast, Cherry Street Tavern, their iconic potato soup. Then you have French onion soup from Forsythia, where he does these foie gras croutons. We have bowl of pho from Pho 75. Take me there now. It's cold, it's chilly out.
Yeah.
I think I know what lunch is today. Super Bowl from Senki. And then Tan Tan Ramen from Terakawa. And we had the matzo ball soup from Herschel's East Side Deli, rounding out those categories. So,
all right, I just put my vote in for my People's Choice. All right, let's talk about the other fun part of the Tasties.
Sure.
And that's when you get to actually walk around to meet and speak with and taste all the good stuff that Philly chefs and restaurants are displaying on their tables. There's drink samples. One of my favorite parts was getting like the Philly-centric food bites during the awards ceremony.
Yep.
But then the tequila and mezcals that were flowing.
Yes.
The Caribbean red snapper from Bolo.
Yes.
We couldn't miss the pig-shaped ice sculpture.
right. From Ice Philly. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. No doubt about it.
So many sweets. You talk about your sweet tooth. I have a sweet tooth too. All the sweets as well. What are you guys cooking up for this year?
Oh man, we got some great stuff. Well, first off, what we love to do with these awards is have a little fun, right? So we not only are we doing this ceremony, which is a blend of skit, comedy, acting. It's a blend of really touching moments. You think back to the Dish Wizard Award and all that last year. Got the standing ovation. But then we also like to let our hair down a little bit and have a lot of fun for the after party. And what you're referring to is that after party where everybody, the ballroom's doors open up, the drinks start flowing, the music's bumping, and food. I mean, we call it Philly's biggest night in food for a reason, not only because of the award ceremony, but because of the quality of chefs and restaurants who are really just bringing out their best food for the night. And it's really something to behold. And really for this year's after party, last year we had some different rooms. I think you remember, like one was like kind of winter in Philly where we had the desserts and all that. We had the Patron room, and then we had the Giordano's Garden Groceries did.
Oh yes, how could I forget that? Yes.
Yeah, so
it was like a big charcuterie board.
Yes, exactly. It was like a walk through charcuterie board. Yes, yeah. Exactly. So they are bringing back that room this year. We're actually we're doubling down on that. It's gonna be bigger. It's gonna be better. And it's gonna be even more immersive. We love this idea of doing these immersive experiences. We call them that for a reason because we really go all out in decorating these different rooms. So we have one area that's just open and lots of food and drink, and the live music will be happening in that area this year from Electric String Quartet. But then we have these rooms that are quite large. As mentioned, we had the Italian market room. This year, we are doing one with Tito's Vodka, and it's going to be the Casino Royale room. It's going to be, we're going to have live gaming happening in there. We have our Phil Abundance Community Kitchen in there, which is our beneficiary for this year. They're going to be cooking up some great stuff. We have multiple bars in there, and but the one room that I'm super excited about is our take on the Tasties Blockbuster bar. So imagine walking into a Blockbuster video store. We're going to take you back to the 90s when you used to go in and pick up your video on a Friday night, grab some candy, some popcorn, and head home. And we are recreating that experience for you. You're going to go to the wall. You're going to pick your favorite drink. You're going to bring that up to the counter. It's going to be a movie-themed drink. You're going to exchange that for your beverage. You're going to grab some candy off the wall. That's right. We're going to have all-you-can-eat candy that you're going to be able to have. And we're going to have Sparrow's popcorn in that room. We're going to have old movies playing. It's going to be blue and yellow. It's going to be out of control. And I just can't wait to see it come to life. We have this wonderful lady who is bringing all this to life, Venus and High Volt. Looking forward to it.
All right, Eli, thank you so much for being back here on CityCast Philly. You can check out Eli and you can check out the team Delicious City Podcast. Wherever you subscribe to podcasts, we'll have all the links in the show notes. Thanks, Eli.
Of course. Thank you for being so gracious with your time and having me on. I really appreciate it and look forward to seeing you guys there because I know you're coming back.
Yes. The Tasties is happening on Sunday, February 1st at Live Casino and Hotel. Get your tickets at deliciouscitypodcast.com. That's all for today here on CityCast Philly. Every time we do a food episode, I get so hungry. If you enjoyed this episode about Philly's most iconic restaurants, tell a friend. Also, rate the show, leave us a review, and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to sign up for our morning newsletter to learn more about what else Philly's talking about. And don't forget, you can support the show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Philly neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye.